Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if you've ever woken up feeling just incredibly stiff or, found yourself letting out a little groan when bending down to pick up a dropped pen, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're diving into a literal blueprint for longevity. We're going to break down 6 simple, totally foundational exercises that physical therapists universally wish we'd all just weave into our daily routines. And hey, this isn't about sculpting a six-pack or running a marathon. It's all about keeping your mobility, your independence, and your comfort intact as the years go by. So let's jump right in and look at how to age gracefully, one simple movement at a time. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll kick things off with the modern movement problem, then build our foundation with balance and legs. After that, we'll hit stability to protect that core of yours, followed by strength for an upper body reversal. And finally, we'll wrap the whole shebang into your daily physical buffer. Let's do this. Section 1, the modern movement problem, and why sitting hurts. Okay, so it's a question we've literally all asked ourselves, right? Why does sitting, something that feels like doing absolutely nothing, leave us feeling so creaky, tight, and honestly just exhausted? Think about it. We sit at desks all day, we're constantly looking down at our phones, and then we reach for something on the floor and bam, our body just locks up. It's like we're the Tin Man and somebody took our oil can. And that brings us straight to the core thesis of our source material. Those aches and pains, they aren't necessarily a sign that your body is just failing you out of nowhere. No, they're simply a reflection of your daily routine. The way we live today is just fundamentally at odds with how our bodies were built to move. But the good news is, taking a little time to practice deliberate, good movement habits is the perfect antidote. It can literally counteract all those hours of sitting. Physical therapists are seeing this play out on the front lines every single day. As physical therapist Teresa Marco puts it, people come in with the same problems over and over again. And because we're all coming in with the exact same desk job-induced issues, she and her colleagues find themselves prescribing the exact same simple solutions. These are the tried and true foolproof movements we're exploring today. Section 2, Foundation, Balance, and Legs. Building from the ground up. So our very first exercise is the single leg stand. I know, it almost looks too simple, doesn't it? But having rock-solid balance is absolutely vital for everyday life. And the best part? You don't need a fancy gym membership for this. You can practice it by just lightly resting a hand on the kitchen counter while you're waiting for your coffee to brew, or even while you're just standing there waiting for the elevator. The real takeaway here is perfectly summed up by Connor Nordengren, a physical therapist out in Massachusetts. He points out that balance simply deteriorates with age unless you are incredibly deliberate about practicing it. It's a classic use it or lose it scenario. But by just standing on each leg for a few seconds every day until you're steady enough to let go of that counter, you're actively fighting back against that natural decline. Now, this next one highlights a massive danger zone we all wander into multiple times a day. Dara Shah, a physical therapist in Atlanta, explains that when we bend down to pick things up, most of us completely round our backs, and that's a huge mistake. It puts immense pressure right on your spine, and it's basically a fast track to an injury. The fix? We've got to learn how to properly do what's called a hip hinge. Let's break down this hip hinge step by step, because getting this right is a total game changer. Step 1, instead of just folding at the waist, actually send your hips backward. Step 2, keep your back totally straight and your chest pointed forward with your shoulders pulled back just a bit. And step 3, keep your knees softly bent. Doing it this way shifts the work to your glutes and hamstrings, completely protecting your spine when you're grabbing the groceries or picking up the dog's toys. Section 3, Stability, protecting your core, the inner strength. Physical therapist Carrie Pugliano from Virginia really cuts to the chase on this one. She says, with a lot of these issues, people are just missing fundamental strength. When we are glued to a chair all day, those deep innermost core muscles just sort of go to sleep and get weak. And here's the wild part. When your core is weak, your neck and shoulders start overworking just to hold you upright. So actually scratch that nagging neck tension you keep feeling. It might literally just be a weak core in disguise. To build that missing strength back up, therapists across the board recommend an exercise with a pretty funny name, the dead bug. It looks a little silly, sure, but it is an absolute powerhouse for your core. Mostly because it forces you to keep your spine perfectly stable while your arms and legs are moving around. Here's exactly how you pull off the dead bug safely. First, lie flat on your back, arms straight up to the ceiling, legs lifted at a 90-degree angle. Second, and please don't skip this, engage that core and press your lower back completely flat against the floor.
Don't let it arch. Third, slowly lower your right arm and your left leg toward the floor while keeping that back super flat. Bring them back up and then switch sides.
But hey, the physical movement is really only half the magic. Alicia Ferrier, a PT from New Jersey, stresses that pairing this with diaphragmatic breathing is what actually stabilizes your core from the inside out. So you want to slowly exhale while you extend your arm and leg. That forces the core to contract. Then inhale, letting your belly expand as you return to the starting position. Takes a minute to get the hang of it, but it works wonders.
Section 4. Strength. Upper body reversal, countering the desk slouch. The problem here is pretty obvious, right? We spend hours and hours hunched over keyboards, steering wheels, our phones, you name it. The solution? The cat-cow stretch. By getting on all fours and alternating between arching your back up like a Halloween cat and then letting your belly drop down like a cow, you're actively fighting off that stiffness. It restores mobility to your spine, your shoulders, and your neck. It's essentially the anti-slouch.
Next up for the upper body, we've got a classic but modified to be super accessible, the wall push-up. You don't have to get down on the floor for these. By just placing your hands on a stable, raised surface, like a wall or a sturdy park bench, you can practice lifting your own body weight incredibly safely. And as you get stronger, you can gradually move to lower and lower surfaces.
The perks of the wall push-up go way, way beyond just getting toned arms. Yes, for sure, it strengthens your chest, shoulders, arms, and core. But the physical therapists point out that the real-world so what here is profound. Regularly doing push-ups trains your muscles to catch your body weight, preparing you to prevent serious injury if you ever have an unexpected fall. It is literally functional strength at its finest.
Section 5. Your daily physical buffer. Preparing for the unexpected.
Okay, so let's tie it all together into a cheat sheet straight from the source material. Notice it adds a vital sixth movement in here, sit to stands, which is literally just practicing sitting down and standing back up from a chair with control. You want to aim for 2 sets of 15 of those. For the single leg stand, try 10 seconds per leg daily. Dead bugs, 2 sets of 8. And for those cat-cows to melt away the desk tension, 2 sets of 10. Toss in your hip hinges and wall push-ups and boom, that is your daily checklist to keep everything running smoothly. I absolutely love this final perspective from Connor Nortengren. He says that ultimately doing these exercises regularly is giving you a little extra buffer to live your life. That's such a great way to put it. It builds a resilient, steady body that's totally prepared for whatever random physical curveballs the day might throw at you. So, as we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with this question. What will you do today to protect your body for tomorrow? Whether it's just balancing on one leg while the coffee brews, or knocking out a few wall push-ups before you hop in the shower, the power to age incredibly well is literally in your hands. Start building that physical buffer today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.